I'm Neha. I head logistics and customer service for Godrej Consumer Products India and SAC. Excited to be part of logistics, which as a sector has been evolving really well in India. I've got 13 years of experience, wide range across planning and logistics and customer service. As a logistics space, specifically distribution at GCPL and in other CPGs companies, I've seen the development going leaps and bounds. From us reaching from a hub and spoke to now we are talking of going direct to retails. There are space where we are not just combining primary and secondary but also taking the tertiary. So soon there would be a time where we will adapt ourselves to the omni-channel market that India is developing into. You have different customers expecting different service for the same products. There is a customer who is going out and buying this product from Kirana. There is someone who is going to a modern trade outlet and asking the same product. And there is also a customer who doesn't prefer to come out of the house and prefers to be delivered at their doorstep. As logistics, we play a crucial role in supporting this evolution that our country is into. TMS has been a long due need that every CPG company requires. With the evolving customer need and with the evolving complexity that a network brings to support the size and scale, it was important that we start digitizing our logistics space. TMS was the first step for us to get into. Why now? Because we felt COVID created the kind of disruption where logistics was brought to front line. The wheels of supply chain got stagnant and it was important that we keep eye on what is moving when. And to manage this larger complexity, it was impossible for us to do it manually. And hence, while the journey was always on, COVID kind of played a huge disruptor and accelerated the journey for most of the organization, including GCPL. When it comes to TMS, it was one of the first digitization step in our journey as GCPL in logistics. We had 5 key parameters that we had set in for selecting the right vendor partner for our journey on TMS. One of the first was, what is the adaptability or the capability that the tool has? How capable it is in our logistics span to deal with? How user-friendly is the tool? Because finally it would also mean change management, and adaptability plays an important role in ensuring that it becomes a good success. Third was IT capability, which means how easy it is for us to integrate in our current setup. Fourth was cost. Is it fitting our budgets and the cost is sufficient for us to derive the value right way? If the cost of the tool itself is exorbitant, does it also allow us flexibility to start small, and as we start gaining value, we can go ahead and build upon it in future? Fourth most important aspect was, what is the experience that the partner has in the industry in terms of doing this kind of implementation? Pando has done highest number of implementation in CPG space, and hence we felt very confident going ahead with them because they understand the logistics industry well. They understand the Indian context of FMCG really well, having done this many implementation, and hence we felt they are the right partners for us to embark upon this journey of TMS. When it came to implementation, we had a long discussion with the Pando team as to what should we pick up first. Should we pick up primary, where we have larger control, or should we pick up secondary, where we know that there would be larger gains in terms of savings? We chose to pick up primary because in a year where we had lot of disruption happening due to COVID, we felt primary was an easier and larger in control for us to drive through. So we picked up primary logistics and we focused on 2 modules to begin with, which would be Optima and Manage. And of course, we also signed up to digitize our tracking and tracing. So that will reduce a lot of bandwidth for our team in terms of tracking each and every consignment, which became very prudent during COVID times. When we chose to begin, we had a very simple mantra that we'll start small, but we'll make it so successful a start that it paves ahead for an accelerated journey ahead. One of the most difficult hurdle that we face with any implementation is how much of data is required, and most of it is all the time unavailable. So thankfully Pando team was with us together and helped us build it. The flexibility that the team showed was that they, rather than asking for customized data each time, they said give us what you have and we'll make use of whatever we can and tweak it into the format that we can put in. So rather than coming and sharing with standard templates, they used our own database and built the information further. And they were with us in building that together rather than sending us those templates for us, the team, to fill in. Once we agreed on to the timeline, the target that we set was, can we have these modules up and running in ambitious timeline of 16 weeks? So while we took up as a target of 16 weeks, as a team we were committed that can we make it as a better implementation. So with committed Pando team and GCPL playing an equal footing role, we ensured that we take up an ambitious timeline to make it the fastest TMS implementation in the CPG industry. And glad to share that we actually hit that target and we were live in 12 weeks straight rather than 16 weeks. This is one of the biggest example of how a committed company and a good partner like Pando can create a journey very, very quick, accelerated and successful. So from GCPL side, one of the biggest requirement was the leadership buying and the investment into this project, which we got very early on. So we had, starting from the top, leadership invested into making this project a grand success. They gave lot of time and insights by being part of weekly steer course, helping the team whenever required and ensuring that the resources are provided on time. This project was put as top priority and it became part of goal sheets for all of the members driving it. Having it imbibed into goal sheet helped us drive it in the right way. It required three types of partners and resources to be invested into this project. One was the GCPL own team, which would be IT and the primary distribution team, to get into the design phase, providing the data. Other was the implementation team, which was the warehouse partners, plant locations and the source location. And third was transport partners, which was very varied. We have close to 60 different partners, 40 different locations where we had to roll it out. So this was an extensive exercise for us, but as a team we ensured that we run enough UAT exercise, do good and comprehensive solution workshop with all the users to have their comfort to support a smooth rollout. For us, onboarding users was one of the critical milestones to our project. We had lot of users like our manufacturing locations, which were close to 28, third-party locations, which were 12 odd locations, and 40 odd warehouse locations to come on board to a common system and adapt it, because the gist of the tool was in gaining high adoption rates. For them, we had a three-pronged strategy that we devised with Pando team. One was to have an extensive solution workshop for all the users, where we heard what are the scenarios that they face and gave them solutions within the tool as to if you have this problem, how with Pando you can solve this. Second was redesigning the interface in a way that it's not that big a change for them and it is self-intuitive for the users to adapt and use the interface. Third, that Pando team did really beautifully was they kept the gist of our ways of working the same. One example is GCPL has a very typical equivalent weight concept through which they charge primary freight. We don't go like an industry norm of a per trip rate. Pando redesign and customize the tool in a way that we can continue maintaining the gist of our primary logistics, which is through an equivalent weight concept. That was a unique requirement only for GCPL, but the team could beautifully customize it. So that was a big win for our users, because they felt that the current way of working is continuing and they are getting a better and a higher interface tool, which is self-intuitive, easy to use and will make work faster for them. Change management was one of the biggest aspects, because while as a journey for digitization in logistics, this was one of our first steps. And any first steps you face a lot of resistance from the users. So Pando was very patient as a team with us, as a solution team. Rather than imposing the tool onto us, they heard our problems out and tried creating an interface that does not feel a big change to the user. They were with us when we were doing lot of testing. We did lot of interface development. They even customized some of the interfaces to suit our user specific requirement. That brought a very good initial win among all the users. During rollout also, we chose that we'll go in a staggered way, but we'll have 3 sites where we'll give lot of investment and ensure that we are smooth. Once we have smooth rollouts and examples in 2-3 sites, the further rollout will become very, very smooth, because we had already been very, very quick in terms of going live and hit a benchmark of 12 weeks instead of 16. So with team and a staggered rollout and a committed teams from both GCPL and Pando, we were very sure that change management would be very, very smooth. So when it comes to using any tool, the first thing that comes and hits a roadblock is how easy is it to integrate within our existing landscape of equipments and the tools that we use in our IT setup. It becomes very difficult if the tool is not an easy integration, not a plug and play, and other important aspect is, does it have any implication in terms of indirect licenses that you may hold or any extra cost that may come as an incurrence because you are using a different tool. Third very important aspect is also about the security of the data. All of this with Pando was very smooth. Again, it is also because of the extensive experience of doing very smooth rollouts in CPG that we did not face much of a hiccups, and all the interface development was quite smooth. Thanks to the IT teams from both of the companies, GCPL as well as Pando, that our interface development was the smoothest and gave us the right acceleration into the project. While we started with having a 6 weeks lead time, they delivered the same in 4 weeks, giving us 2 extra weeks to have a smoother rollout and a hypercare period with our users. When we see into our IT landscape, gone are the days where you have everything coming into one platform, because now companies are adapting what is best in an area and giving a specific targeted solution. Because when we look into one specific solution meeting all our needs, we have very few solutions that come our way, and hence we are looking into customized tool that fits into our landscape but gives us a very targeted solution. So in terms of IT landscape, we wanted to have a tool which is easier plug and play for us, helps us suit our requirement well, and also should have scalability as we evolve and continue to build our landscape in future. So Pando was someone which we felt confident that they will not just fit into our current landscape, but will also evolve and scale with us as we develop newer and better tools in future. For us, we were very sure that TMS is a need for us, and sooner or later we should embark onto journey. While we have started small with Pando only on the primary space, the kind of rollout that we have seen, like I said, we have seen the most accelerated rollout in the FMCG space. So we are sure once we gain and put the value on table, the next phase are going to become even further accelerated. I see it spanning across primary at least in next 6 months of time, and then us getting into the other sections which would be the secondary logistics part of it also sooner. That's how I see us getting into onboard Pando and end-to-end suites within a year. Across groups also, we have good synergies that happen between group of companies where we share good practices. With this, we are also trying to create a forum where we exchange in logistics space good practices that we adapt, and as a group look into solutions together. Because if we can come together, we'll of course have certain low-hanging fruits and synergies that we can derive within our group companies rather than seeking outside. As Pando, I see the tool to be strong not just to suit GCPL but across other group companies as well. So when we started looking into TMS journey, we found Pando to be very adaptable, and they, rather than pitching a product to us, they heard our solution and helped us see the value in the product. So they just said that this is the value that you will derive together. So first, in terms of realizing and assessing the right value that the tool will deliver and how Pando fits the bill was very, very smooth, starting from the leadership, Nitin himself, to his entire leadership team. The communication was very smooth. They were confident on committing what they felt was possible and did not make us any promises that sound too ambitious to us. In terms of integration, the integration team, the support that they required and the commitment that both the teams showed in terms of bearing with each other, in terms of data unavailability or getting into a requirement which was specific to GCPL, or addressing each of the customer need and not brushing it away as something that's too small and hence not required. Overall, the experience has been very, very smooth. During the rollout, the entire leadership team felt very, very confident and were on the same page because we had frequent catch-ups, timely steer course, and there was constant stream of communication happening between both the teams that made the rollout super smooth. I'm sure that you are equally nervous as we were onto this journey of digitization. But start with the first step, and with the committed team of Pando, I'm sure you will have a superb start to this journey. All the best.